Hey, what's up? It's Jake. You know, in the United States Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson outlines the three basic rights that he believed human beings had. Those being life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That word pursuit is a really, really, really important distinction. He was careful not to say that we are entitled to happiness. We're not. We're entitled to pursuing happiness. Pursuing anything requires ambition and work ethic. It requires motivation. John Locke originally brought these ideas to the table, but his were slightly different. His idea was that we have the right to life, liberty, and estate, which can be interpreted as private property. The reason that Jefferson shied away from saying that we have a right to estate or property is that he understood the slippery slope of guaranteeing entitlement. To encourage people to pursue happiness is a much different concept than guaranteeing people happiness or guaranteeing people property. The founders were flawed, for sure. I don't think anyone truly denies that. But you can't deny that they did have a load of wisdom and knowledge and some really good ideas about how to create a great nation. They missed the mark on slavery and women's rights. But there's a lot that they got right. And one thing that Jefferson got right for sure was that distinction about our right to pursue happiness. So when people get up in arms about healthcare, for instance, at no point did the founders ever address the topic of federally funded healthcare, because I believe in the founders' minds, healthcare fell under the scope of personal responsibility. And that personal responsibility was so obvious to them, they didn't feel the need to explicitly mention the importance of personal responsibility. You know, that personal responsibility was just the way things were then. People took care of themselves. People took pride in being upstanding citizens, and people took care of their children and things like that. Obviously, healthcare is different now than it was then. But there is a great deal of wastefulness that people sometimes exhibit in their lives that prevent them from being able to afford healthcare. You know, people waste money on $200 sneakers or $400 gaming consoles or $600 televisions or $800 iPhones. They eat out 2 to 3 meals a day, 365 days a year. They take trips. They go crazy when they go to a store. They buy things they don't need. You know, these are all things that some people do. And many people do a combination of these things. A lot of people, if they just lived more simply and lived within their means, could totally afford to buy health insurance. The people who truly can't afford to buy health insurance are given free health care by the government. But people want to have the things they want to spend frivolously, and they still want someone else to be responsible for their health care. That's unfortunate. That's what the founders were trying to avoid when they used the phrase that we have the right to the pursuit of happiness. We're also free to make the decisions that make us miserable.